Greetings, housemates, and welcome to a special episode in my Let's Play XCOM Art of War series. I'm Phwop. I made the Art of War mod, and I made two different classes out of the Engineer and the Medic. I made the Sleeper and the Command. We already covered the Sleeper in a different video, so let's talk about the Command right now. So, your support type archetypes are going to choose between Sleeper with Neural Damping and Commands with Smoke Grenade. Smoke Grenade, not a lackluster perk at all. I don't want to hear it. It's freaking amazing. It lets you, soldiers who train in this perk may use smoke grenades as their first action without ending their turn. That is so good. So good. And I could go over the uses. Smoke, so that 20 extra defense is a ton of defense. And of course, smoke prevents exposed characters from suffering that 30% bonus crit chance, or flanked soldiers. So if you find someone standing out in the open because of cover destruction or fire or whatever, then putting a smoke grenade on them, while it might not prevent them from getting hit, but it might, it will prevent their opponents from getting 30% higher crit chances against them, which is worth it. So worth it, especially with my nemesis creatures having quite a few bonuses to crit chance sometimes, and maybe really deadly crits. So smoke grenades, really good. Plus you get a free charge you get to carry with you, which is amazing. All right, and then, so let's take a look at these different perk trees. In my mod, basically every column can be considered a specialization. So you don't have to, you can just click straight down a column and you'll end up with a solid class, I think. In this case, we have the kind of medic one. Field medic lets you carry one weightless medikit charge, and it increases the charges from medikits you do equip by one as well. So a single medikit will give you 3, 2 medikits will get you 5 charges, which is a lot. Paramedic, note this comes with a willpower boost. This comes with a mobility boost, and it lets you use medkits as a free action once a turn. Not compatible with other free actions, I'm pretty sure. Sprinter, extra movement speed, lets you land those free medikit charge uses as long as there's not too many overwatching enemies to blow you out of the air on your way by, and is just generally really good. First responder, so this gives you a 3 will boost, and nearby allies have 1 health restored. Ooh, typo. Each turn, and have a chance to recover from acid and panic faster. Only repairs health, not armor. This is basically your regen biofield. And one of your characters can have it. That's right. The first responder can bring everyone up to full health given enough time. This is a tough decision to put this in for me. I decided to do it because I really like the green fog mod. Which every turn penalizes your aim and willpower some. I've customized how it works. It's a second wave option I suggest you use. And this is one of the reasons why. You can get your health back, but every one of those turns, like 1 health isn't a ton. And since it doesn't count armor, if you're sitting around letting this charge up, then you're suffering aim and will penalties. So I think that makes it worth it. Otherwise, it's a little OP without green fog, I think. But then again, it doesn't restore that much, and by the time you're, later in the game, it's not going to help that much, but it does help a little. Shield smoke is really powerful. Smoke grenades thrown with an additional 20 defense. That's 40 defense. That's like heavy cover just from smoke, and if you're actually in cover, it's a ton of defense. So that's really good. Savior. For soldiers, grants 2 weightless medikit charges per mission, so that's 3 with field medic, and all medikit charges restore 4 additional health. Also works for mechs, but of course this is a mech's perk tree. Savior really lets you carry a ton of free medikits, and it lets each medikit charge heal a lot, so you can be a true doctor going down this path. Very nice and defensive. All right, down the center path, it starts off with Smoke and Mirrors, which is incredible. I list here what support grenades there are. Smoke, Flash, Battle Scanners, Kim, Psy, and Mimic are all support grenades, and you get 1 extra charge for every single one of those you carry, which can let you carry like 5 smoke grenades, or a bunch of battle scanners, or smoke grenades and battle scanners. But of course, it leaves less room for medikits. Steadfast means you'll always be able to, you won't panic, except from psi powers, so you'll always be able to throw out that key smoke to save people when everything is going down. Note also it comes with 2 aim and 5 willpower. Steadfast pretty much always comes with 2 aim and 5 willpower on anyone, so it's a nice willpower boost for potential psi people or officers, and of course a little bit of aim is nice, so Steadfast is just good. Think of it as a stat enhancer as well as the standard perk. Hollow targeting lets you help out your squad by pinpointing targets to be shot at. Good with shotguns and rifle racks. Resilience, also it lets you take those shots like, oh, it's a 40% chance. Like if I hit, it'll die, and if I miss, it'll help someone else hit it. So great for those finishing blows. Resilience, this is another stat boosting one, just makes you immune to critical hits, which is really good in my mod. And it gives you 2 aim, 2 will, and 1 mobility, so resilience, good. Metal is kind of the same way, 2 aim, 2 will, 1 mobility. These 3 perks, steadfast, resilience, and metal, all kind of increase your base stats to make up for their rather passive defensive effects. Of course, metal gives you extra armor, depending on the heaviness of your armor. Immunity to crits is good, and then Packmaster just makes you great at carrying all sorts of stuff. So you really pack in the extra support everything here. I usually try and focus on one of these 2 in the early game, but my mid game I get more interested in this perk tree. This is the light Grenadier is how I think about it. They start off with incredibly extended throw range, and this affects all grenades. Once you get to Packmaster, your support grenades can be hurled huge distances, and you can carry an absolute boatload of them. Sapper, your grenades will do extra damage, so longer range, a little more potent, and triple environmental damage. That makes great for exposing people without really exposing yourself. Battle Scanner, this is a great perk no matter how you cut it. 2 free charges, and an extended throw range for battle scanners if you haven't taken the Bombard perk. The Bombard perk overrides the Battle Scanner perk's extended range. But yeah, if you take the Battle Scanner perk, you actually throw battle scanners farther, and you get 2 freebies. But with Bombard, it's already throwing way farther. Okay, Repair. Command class, I think, is the only class that actually gets Repair naturally. There is an item, the Analysis module, you can carry that gives you Repair, but it is 2 weight, and that is a lot of weight. Especially when combined with the arc thrower. So if you want kind of speedy capture people, the command class is the way to go. Or lots of repairs. Grenadier, this is when, at the Gunnery Sergeant, is when you start to be able to hurl a ton of grenades. Of course, the extra range is already like Bombard just is taking this perk gives you the furthest throw range possible. So the main bonus here isn't the extra throw range you might get unless you skip Bombard, but it's actually the extra charges of destructive grenades. And of course, if you have Grenadier and Smoke and Mirrors, you can carry a ton of all the grenades. And then lastly, Mayhem, which increases explosive damage by 2. So once you get here, you're actually a force to be reckoned with all sorts of grenades, and your distance, and it's more like distance first, number of grenades, and damage later, which is the opposite of the other grenade classes. So generally, for this guy, I think I want Smoke and Mirrors. I find to be really, really good at preventing enemies from hitting you early on. I would take smoke grenades and maybe a med kit, or I would just load down on smoke grenades early on. This will give you 5 smoke grenades, which should be enough to cover the whole squad all the time in a mission, making you really, really resistant to regular attacks. Throw in some sleepers with their psi resistance and their tempting little brains that are traps for those sectoids, and you're kind of immune to sectoids. They will probably panic some of your other soldiers. I like to keep my commands kind of in the back, but the breacher rack with running gun lets them move wherever they're needed and put in that crucial last hit. I find this works really well. They kind of lurk in the back, make sure nothing gets too in on the squad, stay a little bit out of range, and if I need them to, they can dash in and deal a finishing blow to someone that I really need picked off but don't want to waste someone else's action on. So I tend to keep them mobile, able to take any cover with low profile, and of course the throw range with smoke grenades is pretty good, and the coverage isn't bad. So they don't need to be too close to keep the squad really, really safe. I tend to move them last. If you go more the medic route, I often carry a medikit and a smoke grenade, so I have at least 2 charges of smoke. And if you go bombardier, I find having a mix of grenades is a bit better, and I tend to go with the needle grenade and HE kit combo. Which will make you, this needle grenade is going to be super effective against drones that haven't been hurt yet. And of course the HE kit will let you blow up someone's cover from afar. You also could, if you just want to blow up cover like that, go with demolition rigging. This will give you 2 grenades, a little extra defense, it'll slow you down a bit. But you'll have 2 bombard range explosive grenades, which is really good. All right, guys, thanks for, oh, and if you're not going to use the breacher rack, I often use the reflex rack. These guys often don't have the best aim, but the reflex rack or the rifleman rack are good for their overwatch boosting abilities. And this means that they can kind of act as defense in depth. Like, maybe they're hanging out out of visual range of the enemies, but if the enemies move in on you, you might pop them with the reflex rack, or you might get a shot or 2 off with the rifleman rack. I tend to go with reflex rack because they're lower aim than other classes. But yeah, so either defense in depth or a kind of like backup reserve feel here. All right, guys, thanks for watching. That is the command class. One of the 2 custom classes. If you haven't already seen the sleeper video, it's also on my channel. You should check it out to see how the other class, kind of the opposite, the lower willpower but genetically modified soldier class, plays out compared to the command. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope this clarifies any questions you have about the command class, and I will see you next time. Till then, remember, it's all downhill.